Welcome back to the Underground Railroad. I'm D. Curtis Randall. We're here with former police officer of Chicago Police Department, Vince Davis. He's here to talk about all the stuff that's been going on and the injustices within the Chicago Police Department. Your phone calls are welcome and they're needed. If you have any questions, please call us 312-738-1845. That's 312-738-1845. Mr. Davis, let's continue our conversation. Did you seek any help from any other elected officials? And what did they do for you?
Yes. Barack Obama, he was the senator at the time. Mm-hmm. I contacted his office, and they request a copy of the contract from the police personnel division. Mm-hmm. And what had happened was the information provided to Senator Barack Obama, which he became the President of the United States. A letter came from Commander Woods, and it says, Commander Woods indicated in the letter that the company actually had a contract from 1988 to 1990, and there's no information that's true what Officer Davis is saying. And so he lied to the senator, in terms of he reported that the Department of Police had employee drug testing contract with ToxTex from 1988 to 1990. Mm-hmm. Commander Woods, he intentionally made a false statement to a United States senator, and this was done to prevent disclosure of the company being fraud. Mm-hmm. Right. And also, Alderman Jones, I gave him a copy of a document that came from the personnel division from Commander Houghton, Hubert Houghton, and in the letter it says that that ToxTex was never, he says that ToxTex bid specification did not meet the requirements, and Commander Houghton said that the license had expired, but the fact of the matter is that there was no license at all, because Department of Health and Human Service sent me a letter saying that this company was never certified by the Department of Health and Human Service.
Were they continually taking tests, ToxTex, even after all of this was going on?
That I don't know. I don't think so, because I shed light. So whatever they were doing, they discontinued it, in terms of testing. But investigation information. Belief and information that this company did have a contract with the Circuit Court of Cook County testing individuals that were on probation.
Now, at the time, the alderman of the 8th Ward, William Beavers, was part of the Police and Fire Commission. Did he help you? They gave me a hearing with them. However, and they decided to submit a resolution to the floor, but it never went on the floor. It never went on the floor?
Never went on the floor.
Do you think it was because of him not wanting it on the floor?
I don't have any factual information on that. I can't say. But the fact of the matter is that the company never went to City Council for a resolution.
Understood. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air. What's your question? Hello, caller. You're on the air. What's your question?
Yeah, what I'd like to know is, Brother Vince, how do we go about helping you? And what is your contact information? What is your telephone number? And everybody in Chicago that sees this injustice should be helping. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Yes. If you look at the PSA that I've done, mm-hmm. all that information is on there. Mm-hmm. My number is 217-220-2932.
Say that number again.
217-220-2932. Mm-hmm. But I did a little research, and I found out that, that all this court proceeding, administrative court proceeding, was considered to be fraud upon the court. Under Illinois and federal law, when any officer of the court submit any fraudulent documents to the court or administrative court, the proceeding becomes void. Any judgment or any order that's entered is void. And also under false claims, City of Chicago ordinance, municipal code, any fraudulent activity by any employee is in violation of the law, rules, regulation. And I contacted Shannon E. Andrews. She's the chief procurement officer of procurement department. And she can take immediate actions and give this information to her general counsel, and then they can initiate an administrative hearing according to the Chapter 2-152 Municipal Code.
Right. I'm going to ask you this. Are you disappointed that other rank and file members are not supporting you?
Yes, yes, I'm kind of disappointed because, this whole ordeal, I realize that who my friends are. And as I said, my name had been slandered. And however,
Are you currently in litigation to remedy that slander? Let's face it, that's a case.
Yes, right now I spoke with an attorney, and so right now I'm waiting for the transcripts from the police and fire, from the hearing police board to get the transcript so that he can review the transcript again.
Has anybody been fired because of this incident upon you?
No, I'm the only one. Me and Alderman Jones, we did a thorough search, and
Nobody else?
Nobody was tested by this company.
You're the only one?
I'm the only one.
And you feel that they basically targeted you?
Yes, I believe that. Yes, they targeted me. Yes.
Okay. All right. How long have you been fighting this case?
Oh, wow. I've been fighting this case for over 25 years.
All right. Let's talk about your background. You are degreed, and what did you degree in, and what school did you attend?
Well, let me start off saying that, I don't like talk about my education or something because, a degree only tells one that you're trainable. I went back to school, yeah, I failed, but I got back up.
Exactly.
And I got back up, and so I got back in school, and I got a couple of masters, one in education, the others in criminal justice. And I went to Northwestern University, and I went to law school for a while. I went to Loyola School of Law, and I had financial issues, and I couldn't. It was too expensive. Loyola was too expensive. I couldn't handle it, and but I did learn, a little bit about researching and contracts, torts, criminal law, business organization law,
Good. Now, the only person that literally helped you with this is our current mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Yes. Oh man.
How were you able to get in touch with her and her staff?
Based on my experience and as well as my recent training, being certified as Inspector General Investigation, and I saw there was different tools in terms of trying to get a hold of individuals, and however, most of the times that I sent letters, the letters were circumvented. So basically what I did was I just started under the Freedom of Information.
Sure.
And then, when I received a response letter, they said denied. So what I did was, this is back in the past under the prior administrations. So what I did was, this time I told them that, that you're working as an official capacity, any fraudulent activity, any misconduct, you can be liable as well. So the procurement office sent me a letter, and and said that Tox Tech Laboratory did not have a contract in 1990. When I heard that, when I saw that in writing, I said, I almost cried. Mm-hmm. I said, wow, this is what they've been hiding from me, and
it took the Freedom of Information Act to get you that information.
Yes, I thought I was going to have to file in a petition in court to allow them, so they can pressure them to give me this information. However, when I saw this when they told me that this company never had a contract, I sat there and cried. I said, ain't this a blip? I said, ain't this a blip? Mm-hmm. And then I started smiling, and I said, wow. I said, I've been fired by a company that wasn't contracted. And then the big thing is this fraudulent contract right here mm-hmm. has a forged signature of Richard Mayer Daley.
Yeah, that's the question I wanted to ask you. How did the former mayor's signature get to be on that contract?
Well, if you look at where the signatures are at, it's called the it's called the approval cycle. Right. And the contract negotiator was a lady by the name of Lisa Garcia. Mm-hmm. And I guess she should be locked up.
So you're saying that possibly Mayor Daley had no knowledge that piece of paper existed?
I don't think he had no knowledge of this here. But because Alderman Jones did say that this doesn't look like Richard Mayer Daley's signature. But what solidifies this company that Mayor's Lightfoot office enlightened me that all contracts are recorded in the clerk's office. Right. So, along with an ordinance, when the clerk sent a letter to me that there's nothing in their journal proceedings, mm-hmm. I said that shed a lot of light. And then the procurement office sent me another letter telling me that this company didn't have a contract in 1990. And the question is, where did all this money go to?
Understood.
That's over $1 million.
Now, it seems to me that there are a lot of dirt that has yet to be dug up to find out who and what and why. But you had to find out basically throughout finding out stuff, Freedom of Information Act, and a whole bunch of other stuff to find out the absolute truth. And do you think that you have reached that truth?
No, there's more. There's more to discover. The Internal Affairs, Bureau of Internal Affairs, contacted me by phone, mm-hmm. and we discussed. I said, well, first of all, I'm not going to talk to you about this over the phone. Right. Number one. Right. Then I said, if you're going to send me anything, just send it through my email or through the U.S. mail. And they sent me a letter asking me to send them a letter to reopen my case. I'm on the outside, mm-hmm. and I'm doing my work. Right. And I'm finding all this information. A reasonable, prudent investigator would have did more mm-hmm. in terms of contacting the Human Resource Department.
Was your attorney involved?
My attorney, as I said in the beginning, my attorney, he didn't want to take this route about the laboratory. He took the route that I didn't have a hearing within 30 days. In 30 days, according to the rules, you must have a hearing. I didn't have a hearing until 3 months later, so I was reinstated back on the job. Mm-hmm. The Circuit Court of Cook County reinstated me back to my position and remanded back to the board for reinstatement. So the city filed an appeal on the appellate court level, and the appellate court, my attorney didn't put Leroy Martin as a defendant. He put Rodriguez, and so it got thrown out.
Now, Leroy Martin at the time was the police superintendent.
He was the superintendent at the time, so,
Was Rodriguez a first deputy?
I don't know what he was at the time, but when when Leroy Martin left, Rodriguez took his place. Mm-hmm. So, so he put the wrong person name down, so it got thrown out because of that.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to see done?
Oh, wow. What I want to see done, I want to see I would like to be reinstated with full benefits. That's what I write. That's what I want to be.
And circumventing back to what year?
April 20th, 1990.
April 1990, full benefits, full pay back.
Back pay, paying all, yes.
The whole thing.
Yes.
Okay.
But as I said before, it's sad that these individuals that were working in these various departments was concealing information, not only from me, but concealing information to the citizens of Chicago.
How high do you think this went up, the chain? How high in the chain do you think this reached?
Yes, I believe it went to the mayor's office. I believe so. But right now, the Bureau Internal Affairs right now is doing their investigation along with Office of Inspector General. In the past, they said there was no findings. I think there should be an outsourced agency that do an investigation, Department of Justice.
Now, understood. We've had 2 mayors since then. Nobody has helped you until Lori Lightfoot.
Yes, no one helped me until Lori Lightfoot. Yes.
Rahm Emanuel's people's nothing.
Nothing.
Daley, nothing.
Nothing. And again, only thing Daley's administration sent me a fraud contract. That's all they did. And as a result, I learned that the certifications in this fraudulent contract were fictitious and fraud per the Department of Health and Human Service. Now, keep in mind, if you and I create a federal certification, a fictitious certification, create one, what do you think happened to us?
Oh, we go to jail.
Immediately. And this can be traced back, again, who did, who was part of the contract negotiator.
Now, I have to ask this. Are you bitter? With all that has happened to you, are you bitter?
And at first I was very bitter, but as time went on, I became more, had a fighting spirit to fight it the right way, as opposed of, I prayed, but in the past I was bitter, but now I'm not bitter, and for those who did the injustice to me, I believe they should be prosecuted, but I forgive them. I think they should go to jail. And at this point, there's no more colluding and collusion, because I basically gave them all the information to start to complete the investigation, to lock somebody up. All the information I gave, they can just.
Now, could you basically counsel somebody who otherwise had these difficulties from Chicago Police Department? Basically, this is a lesson learned.
Oh yes, I can.
Would you be able to teach and show people how to do this certain way or this certain way? And I'm pretty sure that you're astute to rules and regulations in the FOP contract and so forth. Would you, or could you?
Yes, I can. As I said before, I was just recently certified by as a certified inspector general investigator, and I have training with the Department of Justice. To start off with the freedom of information, because that's where you can find, the meat of everything there. If they deny you, like Laquan McDonald, that editor, they kept denying him, but he went to the court and he filed a petition in court, and the city had to release those tapes.
How far would you have been willing to go with this? How far would you have been willing to go?
Oh wow! I'm gonna tell it over the mountains. I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm gonna keep fighting until I get something done.
State Supreme Court?
Well, first of all, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals have a rule that's called fraud upon the court. And as I said, this is not my rule. This is the government rule. This is their rule. Any fraud that's put into the court, placed upon the court, any judgment, any order is void. And I believe that most attorneys don't like going that route because you going after your own buddies.
Yes, you're going after your own, but it's also survival.
It's about, yes.
So would you be willing to do that?
Yes.
Even if it took you to basically the highest court in the state?
Yeah, I would be willing to go into the Supreme Court.
The highest court in the land? US?
Well, the Supreme Court, I can say that, but they only hear 1% of cases, you know, and only 1%. So, wow, that's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
But it can happen.
It can happen.
The people have had that needle found. So, what are you doing now, Mr. Davis?
Right now, I'm furthering my education right now, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm active, involved at my church, and whatever I can do to help somebody, you know. But I'm a drum major, you know.
Okay.
You know, I want to, you know, I mean, I want to lead the parade with honesty.
There you go.
You know,
I like that.
But you know, in terms of a lot of people, you know, call themselves drum majors. You know, they're drum major instinct. You know, but they do it for the self-preservation. You know, that's the problem. Everybody wants to be on a pedestal. You know, and this knockdown to the ground.
Your overall goal.
Taught me a lot.
Your overall goal. Justification?
My overall goal.
Would you rather be justified with all that's happened to you, justification, or monetary gain?
Well, I mean, I want them to give back what is owed to me. You know, my family, you know, they were hurt behind this here. It wasn't just me. You know, my sons, you know, my daughters. You know, my son could have been. You know, I mean, my sons. One of them was working on their PhD. You know, one's got his master's degree. But my family was affected by this here. And just imagine if, you know, just imagine that you lose everything. You couldn't, you know, pay your mortgage. You know, yeah. I just thank God how He just lift me up, you know, and I just, you know, in terms of thought about Job, you know, and I just hold on.
You say your son, he's in school?
He's working on his doctoral degree.
What if your son one day came to you and said, you know what, I thought about wanting to be CPD. Would you encourage him or discourage him?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, no, I wouldn't encourage him. No, my daughter, she took the test and passed, and she's at the final stage. She said, "Dad, I don't want it. I don't want this in light of what's been happening." And I said, "You can do it because you just treat people the way you want to be treated. And don't violate one's constitutional rights. You know, in terms of hurting people." She said, "Dad, I can't do it because too much pressure." That's what she told me.
How important is it for people to go out there and vote we see what's out there now. Police basically have not acted the way they should. It's not serve and protect. It's basically do what they want to do.
Well, wow, you know, they got to vote, you know, in terms of, because a lot is going on, you know, you got to put people in office that's going to make a change within the police department. The problem right now is training, you know, there's a called use of force continuum, and they're not adhering to the use of force continuum like officer present. You know, verbal commands, officer present, soft hand, hard hand, impact weapon, deadly force. They just going from present to bam, 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 you know.
Well, let's face it, the days of officer friendly, that's gone.
Yeah.
We both know that. That's been gone. Mm-hmm. The cops are what they are now, but they need guidance and they need direction. This current administration, are you looking for them to provide that?
I think that Mayor Life is going to make a change because she see that once Harold Washington died, they wasn't hiring minorities on the job. And excuse my language, it's a damn shame. I got to go out my house and I'm seeing nothing but Hispanics and white boys patrolling my community. They don't know too much about our culture. You know what I mean? Harold was, when he was in office, I came under his administration, he was hiring young black men from college, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as he left, they started stacking the deck, you know? I mean, and then I've talked to an individual on the job, he said, well, we can't get qualified people. You know, I go to Chicago State, I get you 50 people that's qualified. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you feel about the current police administration with the superintendent now?
Oh, he's making a change. I know he came in there with a bunch of mess. Yeah. And he's got to make a change. But you know, these people are in office that they're in place from prior administration. So you have.
Did they need an outsider?
They definitely need an outsider.
They needed an outsider.
Yes. Because he's not connected to anyone.
Well, let's look at it this way. If a stinky fish, you know, it stinks at the head first. Mm-hmm. You cut the head off, and then you may have a shot. Is that what Chicago Police Department needed to do? They need to just clean the slate.
Well, they got to clean the slate, just like Mayor Lightfoot. You know, keep these positions. People in these positions in her administration are from the prior administration, mm-hmm. and from Mayor Daley, and Rahm Emanuel. So she got a clean house because this concealment, if this concealment is continuing on from that administration.
I see.
Perfect example. Shannon Andrews, she knows about me. She's the chief procurement officer. Mm-hmm. She knows about this incident because I sent her freedom of information, and she said there's no record in the file. All she had to tell me that there was no contract.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got 1 minute left, Mr. Davis. Do you have a website?
No, I don't have a website, you know.
But it's on its way.
It's on its way.
It's on its way.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Well, officer, and I'm going to call you that because you're still an officer in my book. First of all, thank you for your service. And thank you for being here and telling your story. That's very good.
Thank you.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm D. Curtis Randall. You've been watching The Underground Railroad. Take care.